In today's video, we're going to talk about what happens when you face a major financial crisis. Hi, I'm Gregg Taylor, counselor and coach, and this is my channel, Make Life Better, where I help you live the best possible life. Recently, I was able to get together with my good friend Nancy Zimmerman from Your Money by Design, and we had some great conversations about money, psychology, emotions. In today's video, the focus was on basically the crisis that we can face, the hard times we can end up in, real financial crisis. In today's video, we'll give you tips and ideas on how to surmount those problems and to give you some hope for moving forward. I hope you enjoy this video.
I want to talk especially to those of you who may have suffered a real financial setback, a blow. It could have been job loss. That's very common right now. I'm taping this during the pandemic. Lots of people are losing their jobs or discovering their hours are being cut. Possibly some of you have even lost your business and that was your source of livelihood. It could be something like what happened to me. You get a very unexpected tax bill from CRA and you have no idea how you're going to repay it because it's not a matter of hundreds, it's a matter of thousands upon thousands. It could be something horrific, like your partner drained your bank account and left you utterly stranded. Those are terrible experiences financially. Stay tuned. I'm going to give you a few immediate actions to take, kind of financial triage, if you will, and then I'm going to turn it over to Gregg Taylor, who will talk about handling and navigating through the psychological aspects. The goal for me, for you, and for Gregg would agree with me, is we want you to navigate this as safely as you possibly can. It may be mostly a matter of harm reduction, but we want you to navigate this as safely as you possibly can so that you can get to the other side and get on carrying on, rebuilding your financial life. So, number one tip from me, name your emotions. Rather than just being caught up in the whole psychological, emotional elements of it, if you can take a moment to name your emotion, I'm scared, maybe even I'm terrified, I feel so angry, I feel really discouraged. I've been working so hard on creating a good financial life, and now this, I'm just so discouraged. By naming those emotions, you lift yourself just a little bit out of the whole chaotic mess, and you access the part of your brain that is able to think clearly, the executive part of your brain. By reminding yourself that you can access that part of your brain, you set yourself up for the next tip, which I'm going to say, which is get some clarity on your actual circumstances. Sometimes when it's emotional, you might not be seeing the picture clearly. You need and you want a clear picture that you can navigate effectively. Here's a couple resources I can offer you in that regard. If you look at the links below, I've put a link to a couple spreadsheets, very easy to fill out. Have a cup of tea, some nice music, and you'll get them done in 20 minutes to 40 minutes. That will help you get clarity on your current financial circumstances and give you kind of a balance sheet, if you will, of where you're at. So that's resource number one. And resource number two, if you want a complimentary 45-minute consult with me, I'm happy to do it. We'll call it triage. So just email me. Again, look at the links below. So tip number two, get clarity on what your financial situation actually is. Tip number three, hear this clearly. This happens to almost everyone. Almost everyone, at least once in their lifetime, will get a real blow, the sucker punch that just leaves you kind of reeling. So, the point is, you're not alone in this, and more importantly, you'll get through it. People get through these things all the time. It will take some action. It will take some time, but you will get through it. This current situation is not the sum total of your financial life. This is just a momentary, very difficult thing. I don't mean to trivialize or minimize the difficulty, but really focus on this is for now. You will navigate through it and you will come out the other side successfully in time. And that segues into Gregg, who will talk a bit more about the mindset and how to shift out of just being kind of stuck in the current horror and get you moving on towards a better life.
Yeah, so what I'd like to say about that is that quite often when people face a trauma, like a big loss, like we're talking about, people go into fight, flight, or freeze. Basically, it's our automatic, natural physical response to danger. And so if we want to actually make our way through and evaluate our circumstance, be able to feel our emotions, we actually need to de-trigger that physical response that we're having on a daily basis. And so I recommend that you look into some breathing techniques that'll help slow down your breathing and your heart rate, or mindfulness exercises, and there's so many good resources on that. And so check out YouTube or check out apps like Headspace, Calm, or Insight Timer. And those are great resources. And it may not feel like you're solving the problem in doing that, but you actually are, because you can't solve the problem when your body is physically triggered in stress. So that's the first piece. The second piece is when people end up in an ending, they end up turning backwards longingly at what they lost, and can take a little too long finally accepting and turning towards the future. Because transition has 3 phases, the ending phase, but that needs at some point to transition into the transition process phase, where it's a re-looking at yourself, taking inventory, taking stock, like with these worksheets, that actually help you figure out your current circumstances and what you need to do next. And the third stage, endings, transition zone, is new beginnings. And that's when you'll start to identify steps for you to make progress and steps towards the future. Personal choices as well as financial choices.
We gave you some really good actions to take and strategies on how to move out of the current situation that you're in. And before I carry on that, I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're experiencing this. I've experienced it in my life, and by the way, gotten through just fine, but it took time. But I know it hurts, and so I'm just sending you some love and empathy. If you got good value out of the content about the recommendations that we just provided you for how to move through this safely to the other side, please hit the subscribe button. And if you know anybody who has also taken a financial hit, and we're recording this right in the midst of the second wave of the pandemic, so I bet you do know somebody who has taken a financial hit, please forward this video so that it can help them as well. That would be a very compassionate act for you to do. Again, subscribe, check out the resources below, and every good wish for you as you navigate through your current difficulties to a brighter future.